So you don't have a social security service number yet and you are trying to rent a house or an apartment in the USA. Don't worry, because in today's vlog, I will help you overcome that hurdle. I will also help you ask the right questions before signing a lease, the things you should be doing once you move in, and the things you should not be doing while renting an apartment. I will also share 3 important websites to check. The first one is to help you find a good apartment. The second one is to check the crime rate or the livability in your area. And the third one, if you have kids and you are sending them to school, is a website for you to check whether the school in your area is good for your kids. Hello, my name is Rebecca. Welcome to Pinoy Nurse Portal. If you are interested, please stick around. All right, the first question you should be asking is, how much is the rent going to cost? Let's say, for example, you have a recruitment agency and they're bringing you here. It's important to ask, how much will that agency cover for you? Let me share, personally, when we moved here, our agency paid for the deposit and the first month of the rent. They also paid 6 months of the furnishings, the furniture rental of my apartment. So you have to ask that to your agency. Now, if you're DIYing your application and you don't have an agency, obviously it's important to ask, how much will it cost? Why? Obviously, it will help you budget your salary. If you watch my last vlog, we talk about how much the average hourly rate of nurses in all the 50 states, okay? So now take note that 33.1% of your budget, okay, that's an average in the United States, is allotted to mortgage or rental. So it's important that you know how much your rent is going to cost. Next question. It's very important. You have to ask how long the lease is going to last, okay? The normal lease is 1 year, but there are also choices of 6 months and 3 months. So your next question might be, which one should I choose? That is up to you. But let me tell you why you need to ask this question. Let's say, for example, you moved here and let's say you did not choose a good location and you don't like the area. If you have a shorter lease, you can move out anytime. Let's say you signed up for 3 months. Okay, so 3 months ka lang magtitiis dun sa not so good location. All right, and if you want to move out because you did not like the location, you can move out anytime. So let's say you signed up for 1 year lease, that's 12 months, and you want to move out after 6 months. What's going to happen? Well, if you breach the lease contract, you have to pay for the rest of the months that you will not be living in that area. That's why it's important before signing your lease, take time to read the contract, because the lease contract is a legal document. Anong ibig sabihin yan? It means they could sue you, okay? They could use it against you. Very important, read the contract before signing your lease contract. Ilang beses ko nang sinabi yung contract. Okay, next. Next question to ask are the 3 L's. Location, location, location. Why is that important to ask? You have to be very strategic. When choosing an apartment, it's important that you are close to either a subway system, if the mode of transportation in your area is through a subway system, or the bus station. And why is that? It took us 6 months to be able to afford to buy a car when we first came to the United States, because let's face it, you don't have a credit score yet. That's why it's really important that you know what to do as soon as you move over to the USA. I have a separate vlog for that. This is the thumbnail over here and I will link it in the description down below, okay? Another thing to ask in regards to location, are you close to a school? Okay, there are 3 types of school system in the USA. Meron silang public, private, and charter school. Next, is it close to a grocery store? When we first moved here, our agency did a really good job. Our apartment was only 0.8 miles away from Walmart. So when you first come over here, you will love Walmart. If you're from the Philippines and you've been to Divisoria, Walmart is the air-conditioned version of Divisoria, meaning to say the prices are cheaper than Target, Kroger, and Safeway at nung iba pang mga grocery. Kaya when you come over here, the first grocery store that you should go check out is Walmart. Next question you want to ask is, what's included in the monthly rent? You won't believe when we first moved to the USA, that was 2006, our monthly rent was only $500. At saka kasama na doon yung utilities. So what's included in the utilities? That includes the waste management. Next is the gas. That should be part of the monthly rent already. Next, the water should also be part of the utilities. Some apartments will include the electricity, but in my own experience, electricity is not part of the monthly rent. But your garbage disposal, your water, and your gas should be part of the monthly rent. Next question, do I have to pay a security deposit? Whether you will be renting a house or an apartment, the answer is yes. And why do you need to pay a security deposit? Kasi if you are about to move and you destroyed the walls, the ceiling fan, or whatever is included in the apartment, if you broke any of them, they will deduct it from your security deposit. Next question you need to ask, hindi ko alam to before we moved here. Now you know because I'm about to tell you. You have to ask, is there a in-house washer and dryer? That's very important, especially if you have kids, okay? If you don't have an in-house washer and dryer, you have to go to a laundromat. In our old apartment, the first one, actually, tatlong beses kami nag-apartment when we first came here, when I had my second child, and when I had my third child. So 3 different apartments in the span of 3 years. Our first 2 apartments did not have a washer and dryer. It was not very convenient. On our third apartment, we already know what to do. Okay, so we chose an apartment with an in-house washer and dryer. It will usually cost a little bit more, but it's very convenient, especially if there are 2 of you working and if you have kids. Next question, ask your landlord whether they require a renter's insurance or not. It's really important. So what is a renter's insurance? This is basically an insurance to protect your personal belongings. Okay, let me just share my personal experience, and you don't have to do what I did. I did not have a renter's insurance in the span of 3 years that we rented an apartment. So it's up to you whether you want to get a renter's insurance or not. Because pag nasira or any of your appliances will break down, all you have to do is call your landlord. That's why it's also important before signing a lease to know the home repairs they will be covering. What happens if they don't repair it for you? It happened to us on our third apartment. My kids were still small back then, so we didn't know what to do, so we have to call friends and co-workers. I go, what should I do? Because the landlord was ignoring us. They said they already called someone to repair it. So how do you expedite it? You have to call BBB, Better Business Bureau. They have a website. I will put it here. They have a phone number. You could call them and you can file a complaint against your apartment complex, okay? And they will help you expedite. Kasi ayaw nung apartment complex. They don't like to get a bad rating from BBB, Better Business Bureau, okay? Next, ending a lease. So, ano ang dapat mong gawin? What do you need to do before ending a lease? Let's say you signed for 1 year. So, let's say you are about to finish or reach the 1-year mark of your rent. What should you do? Before you even get to that 1 year, you have to give your landlord 30 days notice. Just like when you leave your job, you have to give them a 30 days notice. That way, your landlord will be able to advertise the space. You have to remember, your apartment is a business establishment. It's really important na hindi sila mabakante, okay? So, give them at least 30 days notice or even longer. They will appreciate that. Plus, it will give you a good standing sa susunod na mag-a-apply ka ng lease or rent. Next question, what are the amenities included in your apartment complex? Usually, the more amenities they have, the more expensive your rent is going to be. When we first came here, I was so lucky because malapit kami sa bus stop. I was walking distance to Walgreens and Walmart. And then we have a pool, we have a gym, but we did not have a spa and we did not have an in-house washer and dryer. That's why on our third apartment, I already knew what to ask and I already know what I wanted. So on our third apartment, we already have an in-house washer and dryer. And I already know that I want a good view. So I asked for a unit that's overlooking the pool. Next question, is it a gated community? Our first apartment was not. On our third apartment, it was a gated community. And why is that important? I have 3 kids back then. I still have 3 kids now, okay? I stopped at number 3. It's important. Safety is very important. So it's up to you whether you want a gated community or not. But there's an extra payment, okay? But it's nothing that you nurses won't be able to afford. That's why if you watch my vlog with this thumbnail, it's important to negotiate, okay? Negotiate your rate. That way, ma-afford ninyo ang gated community at saka ang in-house washer and dryer, okay? Okay, next, before we proceed, let me just answer the question I asked you at the beginning of this vlog. What should you do if you want to rent a house or an apartment and you don't have a social security service number yet? Number 1, you have to find a co-signee, meaning to say someone who's been here a long time and has a social security service number. They have to agree to be a co-signee because just in case you won't be able to pay your rent, your co-signee will be the one to pay your rent, okay? So it's important that they agree to be a co-signee. And number 2, the easiest way is to present them your green card or your permanent resident card. Easy, right? Next question you should be asking is it furnished? Is your apartment furnished? And I don't mean your fridge. So what do I mean with furnished? You should be asking if you have a couch, a dining set, a bed for your bedrooms. If the answer is no, usually your rent should be cheaper than the furnished one, okay? So let's say you are coming over through a recruitment agency. In my personal experience, our agency paid for our furnitures for the first 6 months. So what happened after 6 months na nag-rent kami ng furniture through my agency? Now you have an option to continue renting them, and I suggest not to do that because it's so expensive. In Arizona, there's a company called Rent A Center. That's where you rent furnitures. I don't suggest that. I suggest though to buy secondhand furnitures or ask your friends if they have secondhand furnitures that they will give away, or you can go to Goodwill. If you watch my previous vlog, our first couch in our old apartment was from the dumpster. Sa basurahan lang namin pinulot, okay? I just bought a new fabric to change the cover, but it's a secondhand. So when we moved out of the apartment, we threw it away. Do not invest so much on your furnitures yet while living in the apartment, okay? Invest on your furnitures once you move to your real house because it's so hard to move, guys. Ang hirap magbuhat, especially if you have the high-end kind of furniture. Next question you should be asking, is there a difference in the monthly pay for the location of your unit? For example, you want a corner unit. Is there a difference with the corner unit and the regular floor? Next question, is the bottom floor more expensive than the third floor or the second floor? Because let's say you are single and you don't mind climbing the stairs to the third floor, I suggest you get the high floor, okay? Especially if you work night shift, you don't want to be hearing the steps of the people on the top floor. Some people don't also like the top floor because you have to carry your grocery, you have to carry your laundry there if you don't have an in-house washer and dryer, and your furnitures also. All right, next. So you're done asking all the questions you need to ask before signing the lease. Now you are ready to move into your apartment. What should you do? The first thing you need to do is take a picture of your apartment, okay? Take a picture of your oven inside and outside, the dishwasher inside and outside, your fridge inside and outside, all the corners. Why is that important? Kasi nga, of your security deposit. Kapag lumipat ka and some of them are already damaged or already has a chip, and then your landlord say, this was not here, but you are smart because you watched my vlog, you took a picture. So you showed it to the, oh, excuse me, this was taken when I moved in. It already has a chip, okay? It may or may not happen to you, but it's a smart thing to do. Next tip is when you use your dishwasher, please buy a dishwashing soap. It happened to fellow Filipinos, nag-flood ang apartment kasi ginamit ang Tide. Okay? Don't use the washing machine detergent. You have to buy a specific washing detergent for your dishwasher. And if you don't want to use your dishwasher, make sure to run it once a month. Otherwise, magka-clog siya, masisira, magagalit sa inyo ang inyong landlord. Next, number 2, when using the shower, make sure that you have a shower curtain. Buy a shower curtain and make sure that the curtain is inside the tub, not outside. Otherwise, it will flood your apartment. Magagalit sa inyo ang landlord ninyo. Next, you should check all the outlets in your apartment. Lahat yan, plug your cell phone in there and make sure you take video, okay? Next, you have to check your shower and your faucet and your flush. Make sure they are all working, and you already know what to do. If they're not working, report it immediately. Now, let's talk about the things you should not be doing while staying in your rental apartment or house. Number 1, do not repaint the interior or the exterior of your house, okay? Because that's not allowed. Or some apartments will let you paint the interior, but you have to repaint it to its original color before moving out. The question is, will it be worth it? It's just a short-term lease. You will not be staying there forever, so please leave the walls alone. Number 2, please do not use nails in hanging your frames or art in your wall. Use a command strip. But kung hindi kita mapigilan and you really want to poke holes in your wall, do so. But make sure to repair the holes on your wall before moving out of the apartment. Okay? And finally, let me share the websites you can use to find an apartment to check the livability of your area and check for good schools in your area. Let's start with the apartment. Number 1 is apartment.com. They are rated for best overall features. Next, Zillow. They are rated for best locations. Next, Craigslist. They are rated for best free option. Next, Pad Mapper, best startup site for rentals. Next, Hot Pads. They are best for big city searches. Next, Rent.com. They are rated for best for first-time renters. That must be you. Next is Zumper, Zumper. And finally, you could also go to Facebook Marketplace if you have Facebook. One of the travel nurses in our unit right now was able to find a good apartment through Facebook Marketplace. Okay, just make sure that the area is good and it is safe. So how are you going to do that? By using this website over here. It will tell you the livability, including the crime rate in that area. And this next website is to check whether that school in your neighborhood is good. It is called this one over here. And there you have it, guys. Thank you so much for watching today's vlog. Please give me a thumbs up if you like this video, a thumbs down if you didn't. Please comment down below. And please share this to your neighbors or friends who wants to work in the USA, whether they're a nurse or not a nurse. If they're looking for a rental property in the USA, send them this vlog. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. See you on our next episode.